Good evening and welcome to the SRL GR86 Media Day live from the Legacy Circuit. I'm James Parfitt and I'm going to be joined in the booth by Ewan O'Leary once again this evening. The man I've spent so much time with over this week. It's been absolutely incredible. But Ewan, welcome in once more, sir. How are you?
Yeah, still well, yeah, it has been a lot of broadcasting this last couple of days, but it's been good. We've had some good fun racing and a little bit pressure off here, really. No championship points on the line here for this round, but a media day and a great opportunity for people to not only get accustomed to this layout of Silverstone, which is not used all that often, but a relatively new car as well. We couldn't quite work out between us whether it's into its second season on iRacing now or still in its first. But anyway, it's very early on in its iRacing life anyway, and I'm sure there's still a lot to learn for all of these drivers out there now.
Yeah, it should be an absolutely barnstorming one. The format for this evening is two 20-minute heats. The first heat's grid will be decided by qualifying. The second race of the evening will be a top 15 reverse grid. I know it's a top 20 at the start, but I did find out that it was a top 15 late on in the day and didn't get a chance to change the graphics, but it will be a top 15. So there we go. Alan Brown, evening James, go on Smithy, he says there, going to David Smith. James Lanchet Rayner, you got this VJ Rayner down in 19th place currently at the practice times. And obviously we've got Phil across the pond over in the JPB YouTube channel as well. So thank you again for everybody for joining us and welcome in to what plans to be an absolutely incredible evening of racing. So one that we are going to be looking out for here tonight with 9 minutes of qualifying up and running. So let's see how these guys get on once again here and see how they get on with the Legacy Circuit from Silverstone. It's been used quite a lot this week, to be fair. Last week, sorry, as well, and this week. You know, it's not a track that's often used in series, this Legacy Circuit.
Often used often. Yeah.
Not often. No. I know what I was trying to say. Don't start
I do as well.
Already.
No, I understand as well. And no, I'm very glad to see it as well. Actually, that we've had it so much over the last couple of weeks. I think it's just, you know, in the real top level series in terms of the officials, you know, the really popular ones. I'm sure the IMSA series at the moment is very popular, and the ones where you get to drive the GTP maybe, or the GT3s, I'm sure are still very popular. You know, you're not likely to see this kind of circuit on there very often. You're more likely to see the actual Silverstone that we run now. But in these other series, I mean, to be fair, this is quite a high-profile series with such a new car. In the GR86, to be fair, but even so, we don't see the Legacy Silverstone very often, and I really enjoy going to this layout every now and again. Admittedly, I do enjoy the new Silverstone more, and that might be a controversial opinion, but what you can do about it. But I like to see it every now and again. I wouldn't like to see it every time, but every now and again, it's nice to see. And I'm sure it'll be a good run out for these drivers. Looking to learn quite a lot, I'm sure, tonight.
Yeah, they definitely are there as well. You can direct all complaints to Ewan O'Leary in the SRL DMs if you really want to get involved with that one. But yeah, sometimes it's just best not. Just accept the fact that it's not a racetrack that we often see and we don't often always like. As I say, it's quite sentimental for me. I did watch my first event ever at a racetrack there, and I was mounted on the left-hand side just there in the grandstand as they're on Woodcote Corner, which again was the street I lived in North London. So there we go. At the time it was Woodcote Avenue. There we go. Ewan, good some information for you to let you know.
Just not giving out your actual address, just a previous one, so that's fine.
Well, I'm not going to give out my actual ones, mate, because where I live currently there's more sheep than human beings, so you know, give me a break.
Absolutely, a bit difficult to find, which might be a good thing, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, it's a good circuit, and I'm sure quite a lot of people actually in certainly in England, maybe the UK as well, may have experienced their first motor racing in real life here, whether it be watching. Well, it's most likely to be watching, isn't it? Watching in real life in the grandstands here. I remember being here for the first time in 2007, when this layout would still be new. So I guess it is for me as well. Although I don't, obviously memories are not that great from 2007 because I wasn't very old. But it is for a lot of British motorsport fans their first experience of watching motor racing live in the flesh at this circuit. So for people from if you're from around where we're from, then it will hold a lot of value from them. If you from overseas, I guess not so much, but for British people, certainly will.
Phil said he'll meet you behind the bike shed, Ewan, to settle it. All
right. Oh, wow. Okay. I told you people would disagree with me. I thought it'd be a controversial opinion.
Yeah, but, it is what it is, isn't it, at the end of the day? I don't know which layout I like. I've got to be honest. I like this layout.
Neither are bad.
Yeah, neither are bad. I do like this layout as well. But it's just say the Grand Prix circuit just is obviously what gets used most commonly amongst the world in every series, and I think that's where it's sort of a mixture of opinion. As we can see, Adam Mayak coming around Brooklands currently before he goes off round Luffield, round Woodcote, and then across the start-finish line as well. Don't forget, guys, if you are here for the very first time this evening, regardless if you're on the JPB or the SRL, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bells for notifications, and give the video a big old thumbs up here. That would be absolutely amazing. Arthur Ferdle goes across the line on a 2:07.141. And where does Maya put it? He goes into third. Dan Wareham goes into second, with Steve Burns into seventh currently at the moment here as well. So there's a lot going on here tonight. And Steve Burns here from the Win It or Bin It team is in 8th place. Jono Johnson there is another man that is setting a time on the board. He's currently green as he's going around the final sector as well. GR86, right, has been a really popular car this season. We've got a lot of series. We do it on a Tuesday for the UK sim races. We do it here on a Friday. We've got another couple of leagues starting in a few weeks' time that are running the GR86 as well. It's almost compared to a mini TCR. What's your overview of this car? Right? What do you think? Mini TCR or more MX-5 based?
I don't know. It's the kind of car, really, in my opinion, that doesn't really fit into any category at all. If you were to take this to, so one of the big endurance races that are for these kind of GT sort of road-going cars, and say, put me in a class, they'd be like, well, I don't really know, because it's not really a car that fits into any class, in my opinion. I think what it's going to become is something like what we see with maybe the Mazda MX-5 Cup in America, or maybe the Renault Clio Cup we've seen over the previous years in the UK. In terms of, it's going to become its own category, its own single make category. You can't really, I wouldn't fit it into a TCR category, certainly. It's not really a touring car to me at all. It's not really quite a GT4 car either, really. Although it is a little bit. I guess it's more comparable to that. It's just kind of, it's the GR86 category. It's, it's its own category. And so I think it's going to make for some good one-make racing over the years. But if somebody tries to take it to a multi-class endurance or something, I don't think many organisers would really know where to put it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things here with this car, as you say, that there isn't a real category for it. Are we, though? We've been teased this week about the Renault Clio. Are we looking at a GR86 Renault Clio multi-class series? Do you reckon that's in the pipeline, or do you reckon they're not on the same sort of wavelength as cars?
It could be possible, but the problem is they're both designed for 20-minute sprint races, really. And is multi-class traffic ever going to be a factor in 20-minute sprint racing? I would suggest not, probably, especially given the actual speed difference. I wouldn't actually think these cars will be massively quicker than the Clio. They obviously would be, but not by as much as people would think. I would imagine. I wouldn't be surprised if the Clios can do a 2:15, 2:20 round here. That's not very much of a gap, really, in terms of speed. And in a 20-minute race, you're just not going to catch them. So I don't think multi-class would quite be the right way to go. I think the Clios are going to have plenty of single-make racing on their own. And there's plenty of single-make sort of racing going around in racing at the moment with these. We've had the Porsche Cup cars for a very long time now. We've got the Clio Cup cars now. A few more open-wheelers that are from one-make racing. A few more open-wheelers than we've had in the past. So... one-make racing is really making a rise in racing, and I think that's a good thing for them, really, because in terms of trying to cover a whole category like GT3, it's so much work to cover 10 manufacturers' cars. It's a lot less effort to do a one-make series.
But then again, we've got the Production Car Cup that's got the MX-5. Well, it's got the GR86 now, I suppose. That, you know, then it ran initially with the MX-5, the Jetta, and the Mustang. I think it runs the GR86. I don't think it runs the Jetta anymore. I've got to be honest, I'm not 100%. I will have to just do some digging on that. But do you think that sort of series could be a go for these cars? You know, the mixed up GR86, MX-5, Jetta series, do you reckon?
Yeah, I was thinking more of it in terms of a real life or a league situation, really, with Manza, to, you know, whether they can fit with the Clios or not. But yeah, certainly in that cup, because it's not really based off a real life championship, is it really? That one, and it's sort of entry level. It's sort of, you learn, just people like me would do it because I'm not very good, and I've I can't get out of rookie. Yeah, it's a good idea, and it would fit well there, certainly.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I just looked at the production, actually. It runs the GR86, the MX-5, the Jetta, and the Mustang. So, yeah, that's a full field of racing for what is a very short race, I think. It's like 20 minutes, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Not very
Can't
long.
be much longer than that.
25 minutes, maybe. But it can't be longer than that, I don't think. So that would be an interesting series, I think, to run into. However, it is at Circuit, it is at COTA this week. I'm not totally sure I'd want to get involved with that at COTA, I've got to be honest. But we are here with Arthur Fertile still on pole on a 207.076 there as well. Jack Johns, I'll have to remember that and not call him Jack Jones from the, you know, the fashion designer, is in second place, and Anthony Meyer is in third. The grid is up for the first race of the evening. Let's bring you up the grid. Arthur Fertile is in first, Jack Johns in second, Anthony Meyer third, Dan Wareham fourth, Mark Brown fifth, Dan Mould sixth, John Brown seventh, Derek Crowther, as he is traditionally known, in eighth, Jono Johnson ninth, Steve Burns 10th, Christopher Barnes 11th, David Smith is currently in 12th place. Then beyond that, we've got Craig Walters 13th, Stuart Gibbons 14th, Alexandra Longo 15th, VJ Rayner 16th, Richard Flutie in 17th, Dan Lewis 18th, and then James Bostock is down in 19th place. So Arthur Fertile letting it be known that no matter what car he gets in, he's quick regardless, which is nice for everybody in the pack to focus on the fact that Arthur is in first place. We have got about a quarter of a pace lap here as well. Phil, answer across your pond. Will we see the MX-5 back soon? The UK sim racers are back on a Tuesday evening. They will be back running the MX-5 series, so that would be good for them as well. And Top Tech IT Sim Racing, good evening to you, sir. I hope you're well. Thank you so much for joining us here for the first of a 20-minute sprint race, Heat 1 here with the SRL GR86 League as well. Not often you see a pace lap on a GR86. I think this is probably the first league I've covered that actually does have a pace, well, a quarter of a pace lap, of course.
Yeah, it's just a short one, but I don't think it's too unusual, really. I think it would be more unusual to see them go from a standing start, to be honest. Really, but well, lights are appearing at the top of the screen, but won't be. Well, the pace car's not going yet, and the front row certainly want to. There we go. Pace car driver's woken up from his nap or something, and he's off now. I don't know what he was doing.
I'm not sure.
Everyone was ready. Everyone was ready. Front row was going. Pace car drivers, no, I don't fancy it actually. But anyway, they're off now, and yeah, ready for Heat 1. Could be quite energetic, this.
Yeah, it definitely will be as well. The pace car driver just decided now I'm still having a cup of tea and my donut, so I'm just going to sit here. But it is Arthur Fertile will become effectively the pace car very, very shortly when he does eventually peel off and wake up, of course. And there he is still going around. He will be peeling off very, very shortly. Arthur Fertile's got the field quite spread out here already. Is he going to be going in this? He is. He's gone already on this run down into Cops. It is Fertile out in front. Jack Johns second. Dan Wareham third. Adam Meyer in fourth place. Then we've got Mark Brown, Dan Mould, John Brown here from the SRL, of course, in fifth, sixth, and seventh there. And it is Dan Mould battling away. And Mark Brown has gone. Is he going to save it? It's not. Is there going to be chaos? There is. Oh, he's collected a few.
Such a shame. And look at the suspension damage there as well for Mark Brown, who's crabbing all over the place. That's going to be a retirement for him, and he's not going to get the benefit of a reverse grid. These cars so snappy as someone else is off. Christopher Barnes, by the looks of things, off the road in a big way through Magnussen Beckett's. This car's so snappy, and it seems so hard to catch as well when it's gone.
Yeah, it was. There was Craig Walters involved with Mark Brown, David Smith there as well. Then we've got, of course, that was, oh, blimey, Mark Brown went off. David Smith is in the pits as well. And there's a lot, as you say, a very snappy GR86 here this evening that has been causing problems for a lot of the guys, but it hasn't caused any problems for Arthur Fertile as he's coming around the base of the club before he goes up into this run. But it is Jack Johns under attack from Dan Wareham here this evening at the Legacy Silverstone Circuit, and it just goes to show that car is renowned to it. We talked about it, and I've spoken about it with Dan Peoples as well, and it's just how delicate you actually have to be with this car. These inputs can't be fierce, these throttles can't be quick, because that's what's happened.
Yeah, it seems a very easy car to just kind of get away from you very quickly, and so you do have to be very gentle with everything, really. Which is not ideal. You do, especially when you're trying to push. You do kind of want to lean on it a little bit and you know, slide a bit here or there. But it doesn't seem that that's really possible. Looking at the way these cars are racing now, though, it does look like a pack forming in terms of more of a kind of Mazda kind of race, a Mazda MX-5 race. You can see they're spending a lot of time in the on the straights and a lot of time in the slipstream as well. So we may well see quite a big group stay together for a while here, but. Top six getting away, partly because they're battling so hard over seventh.
Yeah, Steve Burns running side by side with Derek Crowther there. How is that going to work out for them? They've gone round Cops side by side, and they're managing to keep it on track, which is great for them, because I tell you what, that could have been definitely gone wrong with two cars side by side. They're still battling away here as well, and this is Steve Burns and Derek Crowther battling away on track. Crowther in the Blade Designs livery car. Burns in the bin it or win it team behind him, but it is Dirtle Johns, Wareham, Myatt, Mole, Brown, Crowther, Burns still side by side all the way down into Stowe. Burns is going to have the inside run into Stowe. I think he's going to be able to make that stick, and he's going to be able to take that 7th position. He does. Alexander Longo further back as well. He is battling away and trying to climb up with Stuart Gibbons and James Bostock, VJ Rayner and Daniel Lewis here battling further down the back end of the field for 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th well position here. Craig Walters looks like he's gone and stuck himself off track, and we're going to have a look back and see what Walters has been up to.
I think he might have been involved in the lap 1 business as well, maybe, and has had further issues from that, just getting the grass at Cops there, and saves it, well, just about, but comes to a stop. As I mentioned, I think he's got damage from that opening lap incident, which it obviously took out quite a few cars. And really decimated the front group just a little bit, although we do still have quite a number of them still in contention. It does seem, though, that the leader, Fertile, right now, seemingly with this race under control at the moment.
Yeah, Arthur is basically just... I don't know what car you'll put him in, to be honest. He isn't slow enough, Fertile. There is just no car that he seems to be, well, not able to manage. And is that the thing of you're quick regardless of what the car you're in? You know, if you're a quick driver in general, you're just quick, aren't you? There's no slacking.
I guess so. That seems to be... Oh, well, we say that. He's going to make a mistake, though. Quick is not always consistent, and normally he is, but just making a mistake through Cops, I'll be slightly surprised if he doesn't have to serve a slowdown, but he didn't really gain anything from it, so I guess he would have gotten away with it. So a bit of a let-off there, but it has allowed the others to close in.
Yeah, James Bostock here. We're battling away with VJ Rayner. They've been swapping positions. There is Richard Flutie has got a little bit of an internet issue going on in the background, but it is Bostock over Rayner, currently down in 12th. So James Bostock there from GB2 Racing is in currently 12th position, with VJ Rayner trying to battle alongside. Of course, Arthur Fertile is now alongside Jack Jones. Dan Wareham is also alongside Anthony Myatt as well. Oh, here comes Johns. Oh, they're going to make it through all the way round. They're going to run round Club now, side by side. Jack Johns, is he going to get off a Fertile? You can take it in the front line now. He does. And that was a move that was, well, to be honest, he pulled it out of nowhere, to be honest, because 1 minute he was under attack from Anthony Maya and Dan Mould behind, and next he's attacking off a Fertile.
Yeah, very good driving though. Good to seize the opportunity that way because he wasn't getting them early on in this race. He was just having to stay behind and wait and just watch that car up in front do its thing. But he seized the opportunity, the first chance he's really got, and he's just gone for it. And now we'll see whether he can defend from the front, but still 6 for the lead here. The straights around here at Silverstone, keeping things nice and close together, and that's despite the fact we don't have the Wellington straight, of course, on this layout. Goodness knows what it'd be like if we had another straight to contend with here in this race. It really could stay together a lot more. It really does feel like Mazda racing a little bit sometimes.
Dan Mould currently in fourth place. He's obviously in the middle of these guys. Anthony Maya behind him, and Anthony Maya in front, sorry, and Dan Wareham behind him. And this is what he is looking at as well from his point of view as they are coming through the Maggots and Beckett's left right hander. They've got to take a lot of that curve. He's going to have to get down through the brakes into the gear, down through the gears he goes. We're in third currently. It's on the right hand side if you want to have a look and see what gear we're in. And then we're up here on this run down the hanger straight before we coming down into Stowe. This, I think, is amazing for me because we love close racing, and these GR86s, you can race close, can't you? They're quite sturdy machines. They're not as soft as the Radical. As Dan Mould makes the move past Anthony Maya going in to Stowe. He is through. Can he hold on though? Maya's trying to come through. They're going to be going 3 wide. Maya's in the middle. He's going to get squeezed harder than a jelly donut if he stays there, I'll tell you that much. And Maya does back out and allowed Stan Mould to take the position, and he has got Dan Wareham and John Brown behind him now as well. But Stuart Gibbons is gone off. He's running down the order. He's dropped all the way down to 15th there, Ewan. But that's what the things with these cars, aren't they? They're a little bit more robust than normal.
Yeah, they are quite robust cars, which is good to see, really. As we go back to the leaders, Jack Johns now just defending from the front and still keeping those behind. But I think that's one of the advantages, really. We've seen, and spoken about the disadvantage of not really being able to push this car too much because you'll push it over the edge very easily, and you'll find yourself in a lot of trouble quite quickly. But we've also seen the kind of the good parts of it, which is the fact you can lean on each other just a little bit. You're not going to get too unsettled by a bit of car contact, and they're not going to get too damaged from it as well, unless there really is a big smash like there was at turn 1 on lap 1.
Yeah, definitely on that one. Richard Flutie looks like he has had an incident. He's dropping down the order as well, but here we go. Thurtle on the left, Johns on the right. It's Verstappen, it's Hamilton. Are we going to see a massive G crash? We're not, but we are going to see a one off the side of the track, and it's Dan Wareham. Oh, that could have gone wrong, couldn't it?
It very much could have, and it still could. Around the outside for Turtle there by the looks of things, and Johns it was going around the outside. He's gotten through, and it's Fertile who's had to just slot in behind, and now everybody's in behind it. Oh my goodness, look at this. We could very well see 3 wide into Stowe Corner here, with Mould trying to make his way to the outside line possibly. Is he trying to look through the middle? Is he trying to look through the inside? No, he's going to push Fertile by the looks of things and then go for it 4 wide possibly. They thought about it. They decided not to do it as Johns dives deep into Stowe Corner. He's got it briefly, but he's going to get swamped again into the next chicane.
Oh, he's just under so much pressure. There's cars coming at Johns from every which way. Thurtle is going to follow. He's going to drag Mould through. Oh. Mould has gone through. They've nearly contact with Johns again. There's Wareham tucked up right behind him as well. Don't forget Maya and John Brown are all involved here as well. And poor old Johns, he's holding the inside line. We're going to go 3 wide. Is Wareham going to pop it in the middle? He's not. He thought about it there, Ewan. He just backed out of it and thought, nah, maybe not.
Well, if they were going to do that, they would have let Thurtle away with the race win, I would argue, because he does have a couple of car lengths right now, and they need reeling back in from Johns. They've sorted themselves out in the top 4, but they're side by side for 5th. Well, they were briefly as Brown gets ahead into that fifth position. That's John Brown making a big dive. Oh, my word, that's quite a dive. And possibly a step too far as well. Thankfully, he just backed out of that before it was a contact there.
Yeah, that could have been a natural disaster for John Brown over Dan Wareham, I tell you that much. He just manages to pull it at the last second, but trust me, that could have been dangerous. But he manages to make it through here, and it is Thurtle, Johns, Wareham, Brown, Myatt, Johnson, all battling away. This is the closest battle on your screen. You can see it on the left-hand side. It's about half a second between John Brown. Thurtle goes wide again. He's just racking up them off tracks on the outside of Cops at the moment, but he's managing to get away without a slowdown, which I'm quite surprised about, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many you can get away with actually in this race, but he's clearly making sure that he uses all of them and makes use of them throughout this race, because yeah, that's the second time we've seen him not even just about off track, but properly wholly off the track there at Cops Corner, which is not great news as the flashing of the lights begins from Jack Johns all the way down the hangar straight there. He was just flashing the lights, getting into the head of the leader and trying to make a move. We do now have a top 7, by the way, as we've got John Johnson joining this group in the background, and possibly even Stephen Burns as well, who's lurking in the background. Top 8 possibly. This is what I mean when I say it's more like Mazda racing, really, rather than even TCR racing or GT4 racing, even though these cars do look like GT4s from some angles. The fact they're staying so close together through the slipstream really is like a Mazda race.
Yeah, Myatt looking up the inside of John Brown. Fraser Garrity in the SRL there. My money is on John Brown. We'll collect some freebies. Good old driver appreciation lights. He must be happy with a move up. Oh, did. I don't know, Fraser. You know how I feel about lights flashing. Stop antagonising the situation. But John Brown here with Anthony Myatt, Jono Johnson are battling away. Johnson's going to be trying to go round the outside. He's going to have the inside line. Now Phil Luffield, is he? No, he gets his nose chopped off from Myatt. That gap's opening up here from this battle to the next battle. It's about 1.7 seconds at the moment, Ewan.
Certainly is, and it's opened up for the front 4 now, and they'll slot in. I think they realise this, or do they? Oh, a little bit of a look down the inside of Wareham there for Mob, but not going for it at turn 1. They do need to be careful, these three, that they don't let the leader get away, and they don't leave themselves reduced to fighting for second place. We'll see if they do, but they need to make sure that they don't let that happen. Although there is certainly a few car lengths opening there. We may well have Thurtle away with this one and away into the distance. Let's see how well they cooperate here in the three behind.
Yeah, and then we've got 3 behind that as well, led by John Brown, Anthony Myatt, Jono Johnson, Steve Burns is in the background there. Dan Wareham is on the attack of Jack Johns. Is he going to be able to make it through? He's not at the moment. They're going to be side by side on this run down now into 8 and 9. Damo's going to try and think about going 3 wide. Is he going to think about it? He thought about it. Here's Anthony Myatt. There's contact in front. Contact in front. Ooh. Oh, Dan Wareham. Well, that's one way of going around there. That's got to be a slowdown, surely.
It might well be. There was wheel-to-wheel contact, though. That was the problem with it. We normally speak about that more in open-wheel racing, but you can do it as well, especially because of the camber in one of these cars. You can clip one another, and that's what sent one of them launching onto 2 wheels. I think it might have been, well, I don't know who was quite launched onto 2 wheels, but one of them certainly was, from what we saw at the final chicane there, or what would be the final chicane these days. So it's really created this group for 3rd place now. It's allowed Mode to get away with it, but behind it's just, chaos, and there's more contact. 3 cars around.
Steve Burns, Anthony Myatt and Jono Johnson have come to contact there as well, but it is Dan Wareham and John Brown. These guys have lived it, but Thurtle's now, he's done what we expected. He's got a 3-second gap out in front.
Well, exactly, and this is not a retrievable gap anymore. It's irretrievable, in fact, for the rest of them. they can fight over third place, and I'm sure they will do. But it's the next time they're going to be seeing him, I think it's going to be on the reverse grid starting order. I'm afraid it's going to be 3 laps to go here for Fertl, and he should be able to take this one home from this distance. And Mould should be able to hold on for second too.
Yeah, I think Mould should be able to get that second place there as well. Then it's going to be Wareham, John Brown and Jack Johns. Fraser there in the SRL YouTube. Freebie for John. Called it, he said. All right, Fraser, don't get too big-headed, son. Don't get too big-headed. It's early days yet, mate. Early days. VJ Rayner here as well. He is in a battle with Daniel Lewis. They have swapped positions, and it is Rayner through. Is he going to be able to hold it? I didn't think he was going to be able to hold that, to be honest. And that should be a position to Daniel Lewis, I would have thought. Where is Rayner? There he is.
Used to rein it in, maybe.
Oh.
At the first bit there. Sorry, it was an open goal, wasn't it? Really, you just had to. Oh my word, that's a dive. That's certainly not an open goal. A bit of a half chance that he's gone for there, and it's ended up with John Brown off the road and getting overtaken. He's back in this mad group, which is now for 5th place.
Yeah, didn't call that one, Fraser, did you? Hey. There we go, John Brown now losing the freebies he was given, and Dan Wareham still battling away with Jack Johns here. Johns behind him. They're in the, well, they're in similar liveries, to be fair. They're just a mixture of colours, but the same colours. So let's see how these guys load. Johns is going to send it up the, okay, I thought he was going to send it up the inside there. That looked like he was going to have a good old send on Dan Wareham, but it is as they stationary as they are currently at the moment. And then we go down to Steve Burns, Jono Johnson, Anthony Meyer, John Brown. Brown has lost the freebies he's given. He's in the pack with Steve Burns, the man from Scotland who doesn't give up much, let alone his money out of his wallet, I'll tell you that much. He's the last man at the bar, and he's the first man to hang back when he comes out to getting paid. But Dan Wareham is running around here with Jack Johns, Steve Burns, Jono Johnson, Anthony Meyer, and we're back in this pack. And I think, do you know what? I love racing like this. Like MX5 racing is just incredible. GR86 was see Steve Burns take a leaf out of Arthur Fertl's put there and go very, very wide with Jono Johnson tucked up around. He's all out of sync though, Steve Burns, isn't he? He's looking a little bit uncomfortable through Maggots and Beckett's.
He very nearly ran out of road there through Maggots and Beckett's. He flew it into the first part and only just was saved there by that little bit of curbing, the red and white curbing on the outside line there. If that wasn't there, he would have been in the grass and possibly around and outside the top 10. But he is going to get overtaken anyway because of the line that he's taken. Johnson down the inside at Stoke Corner, but we know that's not a nailed-on move. To be fair, Burns just almost let him have that one, wanted to pull back into line. I think he realised that if he surrenders that position, then he can keep going in 6th place. If he battled there, he could have lost 3 more places after losing 5th as well. So I think he decided to cut his losses there, really.
Yeah, I think that's one of the exciting things about this circuit as well. If you get out of line at one corner and another car decides it wants to follow the other one through, you're kind of down 3 before you've even realised that you've lost them. So there we go. Arthur Fertl's coming around turn 13 when this is, we're going to be on the white flag lap next time around. So we're going to see Arthur Fertl take the white flag. But this is a battle down. John O. Johnson, Steve Burns, Anthony Meyer and John Brown here as well, all getting involved. And then Derek Crowther just decided he's going to come and join in the back for good health and make it an even more intense battle as we go on to the final lap of the race. And there is Arthur Fertl. He's just been running around. He's got 4.5 seconds currently out in front, and he's going to be taking the white flag, which he has done there. But it is here where I think most of the action is going to be Ewan for the final lap as we go round now. And it's been quite a mad 20 minutes, and I don't think race 2 is going to be any different, to be fair.
Well, it could be even madder. That's not a word, but more mad. It's going to be a good second race with Fertl having to start so far down. And I feel like it is going to be one of those races that stays so close together for a lot of it, as we've seen with this one, really. Big groups up for high positions, even in the very last moments here for 5th place. I just hope that it's a clean start to the next race, really. Sometimes you get with a reverse grid, you get a really messy start and then everybody's spaced out and nobody's battling with each other. I hope we get a clean start and then we can get one with the battles really throughout the 20 minutes because that's going to keep things interesting. through the second race, as long as everybody keeps it clean through lap 1.
I'm wondering, looking at Johns with his lights here, he's very light, flashy happy, isn't he? And I've had some deep opinions about light flashings, and there was a thing come out that they did actually show in the SRL Discord about excessive light flashing, and I think Fraser, did you see that as well, about the light flashing that iRacing brought out? I can't remember who posted it. I think it was Steve Burns posted it, and iRacing come out and said about excessive flashing, and the person involved was actually given a warning for excessive flashing, and the fact that they can't now tie your light flashing to your accelerator pedal, because believe it or not, some people had it on the accelerator pedal, and every time you press the accelerator, your lights flashed. So I'm wondering if Johns is going down that route, because if he's not going down that route, he's doing an amazing job of being able to flash the lights and control the car here, and he's still going. So, is he going? He is. But Arthur Ferdal's going to come round and take the victory. Arthur Ferdal goes across the line and is your winner of race 1. Good job from him. Stellar job. Dan Mould comes across the line in second there as well. Dan Wareham in third. There was somebody just binned it on the start and is sitting in the middle of the start-finish straight, and it is Jack Johns from Jono Johnson, from Steve Burns, from Anthony Myatt. And I'm actually trying to find out who has actually sat in there. Was it?
Smith, yeah.
Yeah, Smith. Sat in the middle, smoking like a trooper.
Yeah, well, just, crashed over the line, really. And, clearly was absolutely done with this race. He's going to be starting 17th for the second one as well. Not even going to benefit from the reverse grid. Don't know why he's not escaping either, to be fair. But everyone seems to want to avoid him. And there we go. He's gone now. And most of them over the line. We've certainly settled our 15 that are going to be reversed.
Yeah, definitely as well. It's going to start with Christopher Barnes will be on pole. So we'll just wait for the final results to come up here. Nope, he's just really impressed with the battles. That's all. Nothing else, says Fraser, regarding the lights flashing over in the SRL YouTube channel. But don't forget, guys, if you are here from either channel, please go and subscribe. Turn on the bells for notifications. Give the video a big old thumbs up, because that would be absolutely amazing. Where is Mark Brown? Is he? Oh, he's still going. Where are you, Mark? Oh,
yeah, he's off the back by quite some distance in this one. Over a minute behind the next car. He may have been involved in lap 1 or something. I'm not entirely sure quite what he was involved in today, but clearly something.
Yeah, he was. He was involved in that lap 1 pilot.
Okay.
Also, in fact, it looked like it might have been one of they might have started with him. So there we go. But there we go. This is coming across the line now. Goes round Woodcote. There's the line. Just the second white one on the floor, and he's finished, done and dusted. So the results are up here on your screen, and we will show you them right now. We have got Arthur Ferdal in first, Dan Mould second, Dan Wareham third, Jack Johns in fourth, Jono Johnson fifth, Steve Burns sixth, Anthony Myatt seventh, Deck Craver eighth, John Brown ninth, Alexander Longo, we didn't see much of him, to be fair, in 10th place, John Bostock in 11th, Daniel Lewis 12th, VJ Rayner 13th, Richard Flutie 14th, Christopher Barnes 15th, Mark Brown 16th, David Smith down in 17th place, and Stuart Gibbons down in 18th, with Craig Walters down in 19th. We have got a brief little warm-up currently at this moment in time here as well. 5-minute warm-up. James, can we see your best Crofty impression for the next race start? How does Crofty even do it?
Have you forgotten? It's like the... It's one of the more popular ones at the moment. Purely because, well, he's made it popular, to be fair to him. I can't believe you don't know it though.
I don't know it. What is it?
Oh well, okay. Well, I'll. You do what you think it is, and then we'll all.
No,
and then we'll all have a look.
You do it for me, and then I don't have to.
No, I'm not. No, but I wasn't asked to be fair.
Oh, don't duck out of it. You're in the booth.
You're ducking out of it.
I'm not ducking out of it. I'm gonna YouTube it now.
Oh yeah, we'll have a live YouTuber and we'll sort it out.
Hold on.
To be fair, it's a little bit different because he does standing starts, of course, for Formula One, and we've not got a standing start, which is obviously a very, very different prospect for us.
Right, hold on.
And a very different series, of course, as well. I think James is just having a YouTube or a Google at the moment with this. I can imagine Formula One footage is quite hard to find on YouTube, actually. They probably get rid of it as soon as it pops up. Race footage like that, to be fair. Lights
out and away we go.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, but
right, okay.
In the sort of very hyped up kind of voice, if you.
All right, okay.
You've got one anyway, to be fair, so that's fine.
Thanks,
but yeah, that's the phrase.
All right, lights out and away we go. Right, for you, Fraser Garrity. I'll be able to do that for you. I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it on a rolling start, but we'll see how we get on. Make sure if you are watching this, you can get ready and with your clip buttons, because I'm not quite sure how well this is going to go on a rolling start. Ewan knows. I think he should give it a go, said Fraser.
No, I don't think I should, to be honest. I'm opposed to the idea. But yeah, it's going to be different having it, and you can tell it's a non-championship round as well, can't you?
Right.
Really. But there we are. We'll give it a go. As I say,
we'll give it a go. No, you're not. You're going to sit there and just listen to me.
No, I'm not giving it a go at all. What I was going to say though is that I know Ferdel's not going to be controlling this start, but so it could be quite different. But he actually went before the lights even came on in iRacing, so your life could be very tricky if the pole sitter in this one does the same.
All right, well, here we go. We'll give it a go, just purely because we've been requested to, but thank you so much for everybody that's tuned in. Much love to you. We've got a lot of racing coming up on the JPB YouTube channel this weekend, and well, next week is even more chaotic than it is this week, to be honest. So if you want your fix of racing within iRacing, within ACC, we've got AC Revival League on Saturday night. That's with Zach and Michael Saliba there as well. They're doing a 1950s revival race from, I believe they are actually at Spa, if I'm not mistaken. So, it's a Swiss Grand Prix from the 1950s. So tune in for that one, because that should be an absolutely iconic one. And then we've got the LSR GT3 on Sunday, UK Sim Races Tuesday, BSC NASCAR from Sonoma. I don't like road circuits for NASCARs. It just doesn't sit right. It's like PB and Marmite or something. It doesn't sit right with me. Then we got the Simability. Then we had the F1 evening of racing for the LSRL. That's from Magny Core Circuit on Thursday morning, and the TSRC from Zandvoort, and then the Radical Race Series back from Nordschleife. But well, stay tuned for this one. This is going to be another interesting one. Here as well, we have come to the end of this brief little practice session, should we say, in the middle, before we can get the grid up for race 2. I'm just waiting for it all to kick in and give me the right grid. Chris Barnes is in first, Richard Flutie second, VJ Rayner third, Daniel Lewis fourth, James Bostock fifth, Alexander Longo in sixth, John Brown seventh, Deck Graver eighth, Anthony Meyer ninth, Steve Burns 10th, Jono Johnson 11th, and Jack Johns, I knew I would do it, down in 12th. I'm sorry, Jack. Dan Wareham in 13th, Dan Mole 14th, Arthur Fertil 15th, Mark Brown 16th, David Smith 17th, Stuart Gibbons 18th, Craig Walters down in 19th. Be ready for this one, because you're not going to see this very often, and you know, I don't know how it's going to go. I've got to be honest, but
yeah. Sorry, I was just going to say, row 6 has too many Johns on it. In terms of first names and last names, that is unreal. From John Johnson and Jack Johns on the same row. That seems illegal to me, really. Just for our sake, really, more than anything else.
I think it is. I think Richard Flutie needs to slow down a bit here, mate, because you're going to be under a penalty before you've even gone anywhere. Because Chris Barnes is your leader, so I'm not entirely sure what you're up to, sir. But you may need to back it up a little bit. Where has he gone? Am I going blind here? Yeah, he's up.
Oh no, he's having internet issues as well.
He's right up there. Where are you going, Richard? Richard. Richard, back it up, Sutter, because your leader, why are they going? I don't understand. It's Chris Barnes. And I think it's lights out and away we go here at the Legacy Silverstone Circuit with myself, James Parfitt, Ewan O'Leary, and it is Chris Barnes leading the way after somewhat of a confusing start. Fluey's going to be off. He's off. I don't know what's going on. Where is he? He's there. It's James Bostock. Oh my God. Okay. All right. There you go. Over to you, Ewan. What do you reckon of that? That was just chaotic.
Yeah. It was very chaotic indeed, and a big mess at turn one as well, little bit like what we saw in the first race. But some of the drivers who did well in that first one have managed to get up through the order quite well. It just seemed that Flutie is having real internet issues, and that's not helping at all because nobody really knew where he was going towards turn one there, which obviously makes it very difficult to give him any sort of room at all. But for the most part, we've gotten everyone through. Unfortunately, we've got Alexander Longo back in the pit lane. I don't think he ever took the start of this race, unfortunately. And unfortunately, Bostock and Rain don't look like they've made it through turn one either. But the rest of them having a very good fight by the looks of it.
Yeah, they are. And, well, here we go. You can see it now. Adam Meyer in the mix with Jono Johnson. Deck Crowther's in there as well. Mark Brown, Arthur Fertile is trying to come through the field. Don't forget, Arthur was your winner from race one. Chris Barnes is 2.6 seconds out in front over Daniel Lewis here. Jack Johns is a little bit further back. Steve Burns is in the mix, battling away with Arthur Fertile. He's going to be running side by side now as they're coming down into turn 11 and 12. How is this all going to work out? That start was just chaotic. I don't know if Flutie knew or if he didn't, what he was doing. I'm not entirely sure. It just looked complete chaos there as well. And Richard Flutie was off. He's crashed and gone off. James Bostock was another one that went off as well. And Daniel Lewis all at the same time. So I'm not entirely sure what Flutie was doing. If anybody's got any ideas, please let me know. Or maybe he was just, I don't know what he was doing. But whatever he was doing, it wasn't right, was it? Because it just threw everything into chaos.
Did a little bit, but then I think the internet issues created most of the rest of it. I don't think he can be blamed for the rest of it. It was the internet connection issues that really sparked off everything else, unfortunately. So there's not a lot you can do about that, really. But thankfully, as I mentioned, we've got most of the cars through nicely. The top 15 or so, I think, are relatively undamaged and very much still in contention. Lewis was off there. He's now back to 12th. Yeah, long way down now, unfortunately, for Daniel Lewis. But he started this race well, and now we'll surely be in a fight for the rest of the race with at least some people, which would be good, and exactly what these cars are about. They seem to stay together very well.
Yeah, we are currently 3 wide, I believe. Yes, we are. Daniel Lewis is in the middle. Dan Mould, Craig Walters are sandwiching him. Unfortunately, Lewis backs out, well, sensibly, I would have thought, as Mould is trying to send it round the outside of Craig Walters currently at the moment. Here we go. These guys running down now through into 8 and 9 on that run into club. It is Mould. Mould has gained 2 positions there. Some absolute stellar driving from him. But he's got a long way to go up to Arthur Fertile, your winner of race 1. He's currently sat in 8th place at the moment. Chris Barnes, 2.8 seconds still out in front. Jack Johns has gained an incredible 10 places in the first few laps here. 10 places.
As Johnson tries to follow him through, but yeah, he made a lot of those on the first lap, by the way. Had a really good first lap. Got through the cars and the chaos a little bit better than the rest of them, really. And this is where this championship is going to be won and lost. Not in the first race, where everyone qualifies into order and everyone has their kind of race where they're meant to be and so on. It's the reverse grid races where you win and lose these championships, where you have reverse grids, as we've seen in the past with other championships. That's where you really earn the really crucial points, and where you lose some vital ones as well. So we're going to see how Jack Johns gets on, and whether this is going to be a recurring theme throughout this season. Indeed, because Fertile is struggling right now. Back to 10th place, just been overtaken by Wareham, who admittedly was up with him in the lead anyway. Up in the last race, so I don't know how much we can read into that anyway. But, it's very impressive from Johnson in particular, who have gotten themselves into the top 5 there. And, doing well in the reverse grid. Very important.
All right, let's just have a brief discussion about reverse grids. What's your opinion of them? I think they bring great racing, and we've seen it in another series this year. The reverse grids have really opened up the championship, haven't they? They've done a great job. Now, some people have come out and said, nah, not for me. Don't like it. Not going to be coming back, or, whatever they've decided after that. But I don't mind reverse grids. I'm just seeing if Anthony Myatt can defend from Crowther here. I've got a funny feeling Crowther's got the inside line on that run into 8 and 9, and before they go out the exit of Club, he's got the job done there. But what's your overall speedy opinion on reverse grids, Ewan?
Yeah, I do enjoy them. I think it adds another element to it, really. Normally in championships, you only get the traditional qualifying and race element, which could mean a championship winner would never have to be in the pack almost ever in the season, as leader Barnes looked like off the road possibly.
Yep. Chris Barnes, why? And now he's just gone down. Unfortunately for him, he's just gone down the order, and this is why he is where he is.
On his own completely, just makes the mistake. Frustrating.
That exit off the grass. If he could have held it a little bit longer, he might have been all right, but unfortunately he's just gone down the order, and that's put Barnes all the way down in 13th. John Brown here. Is John going to take an unprecedented second place? Now, initially the series was with a top 20 reverse, right? Initially was a top 20, but John changed it down to a 15. Now, I've had a conversation with John as well. As you can see Dan Mole going very wide in turn 1 there. And I asked, was it, just as being a commentator and what we do, we ask questions that nobody else really likes going there. And I went there with John and said, is it because, John, you can't handle coming back through the pack after being 20 if you're down from 20th? And fair play to him, it wasn't because of that. He just changed it because he thought it'd add more spice to the racing if you got leaders coming through the field a bit quicker than being out in 20th. But obviously, clearly, as we can see here with Jack Johns, it didn't really make it really that much of a difference, as he's up 11 places on lap 4 already.
No, although then again, you've got Wareham down in 12th place right now, and Further has only just made his way into 7th. He's battling for 6th right now. That's a unbelievably narrow line from Brown, and straight through goes Further into 6th place. So yeah, I think you've got to strike that balance, really, haven't you, to having the championship contenders way back and just never competing for a race to win, but also not having them just win every single race. You've got to give someone else an underdog a chance to get pole, get a bit of a lead, and then try and hold on for as long as possible. I mean, we've seen that in the last couple of weeks in terms of other series, in terms of reverse grids. An underdog at the front defending for their lives and trying to pull off an unlikely win. That's the kind of thing you want to see as a spectator, and brings the excitement to the championship as well. So hopefully we do see a bit of that as it goes on with the season.
I think we definitely will as well. Good evening, Zach Sweeney. Bonjour. These GR86s are something, all right. That's what he said. Now, we were trying to categorise them earlier on. Zach, give us your best commentary opinion on which category would you put these cars in? Are they mini TCRs? Are they advanced MX-5s? What are we calling them here? Are they GT4s even? We're not even too sure here up in the booth as we watch John Brown battling away with Jono Johnson and Anthony Myatt. Further down the field, we've got Dan Mould. He's running very wide off in turn 1 currently. He's chasing down Mark Brown. And then we've got Stuart Gibbons in the back having a battle with Christopher Barnes. So there's little packs of battles going off all over the place. And Jack Johns is currently out in front of nearly just about a second, should we say.
Yeah, he's trying to break that slipstream right now, which is proving very difficult to do and proving pretty crucial to do and manage as well in one. If you can get away, as we saw further in the first race, if you can get away and break the slipstream, you're fine, really, and you're away if you've got the pace. So yeah, it's very important that Brown keeps Johns just in check there and make sure that Johnson doesn't apply too much pressure there. And if I was Johnson in there in third place, Instead of trying to make a move on Brown, I would get in line with him and bump draft him, to be honest, to get up to the back of Johns, make sure we're all in contention for this race win, and then we can fight it out in a couple of moments' time.
Yeah, 10 minutes remaining there as well. I think Zach's given his opinion in the JPB YouTubers, but normal grids can provide just as much, if not more, than reverses can. But reverse grids open the door for more for underdog and catch-up stories. I like the events to mix them up, but then he's put GR86s are basically tiny buses with how the cars lean low. Rear-wheel drive touring cars, I'm pretty sure they are rear-wheel drive anyway. So there we go.
I think they are. I don't know. I just find it hard to categorise it as a touring car. It just doesn't look like it to me. It looks a bit too sort of sporty, if that's the right word. It's not the right word, is it? But it looks a bit too kind of low slung and sleek and that kind of thing to be a touring car. I don't know. It's, as I said earlier, I think it's uncategorisable. Personally,
that was a sign of defeat there, everybody, from you, and it just, I don't know, with a very high-pitched bit at the end. I mean, that's just it's a sign of defeat. I don't know where we're putting it, but wherever we're putting it is giving us great racing here with John Brown, Johnson, Mayat, Crowther, Fertel's trying to make his way through. Mold's trying to gain positions as well. Brown is behind that with Craig Walters and Dan Wareham, so it's all going off. Little pockets of battles. Mold is taking a lot of curb there. He's taking more than what the track's actually giving him, but he's still managing to get away without a slowdown. And John Brown is literally becoming the roadblock of roadblocks currently with Johnson, Mayat, Crowther behind him. Crowther's trying to make the move. Here comes Johnson now. He's pulled out. Is he going to be able to hold this position as these guys go running down into Stowe? It's going to be too wide. Brown's on the inside. Johnson's on the out. Can Johnson bully his way up the inside of turn 8? They're 2 by 2 at the moment. It's like Noah's Ark feeding in the animals. And there they are. Oh, is Brown going to hold the inside line? He is currently in the moment. Mayat's going to come back and have a go at Johnson as well. Oh, this is all going off as we're running down into turn 11 and 12. And Jack Johns is out in front loving this, saying, carry on, boys. I'll extend my lead, Ewan.
Yeah, that's exactly what he wanted to see. And contact! Off the road for Mayat, and he's going to be off into the gravel. Fertel's going to go through on both of them. Burns is going to, Crowther's going to redress the positions there. They're going to find themselves in a huge group fighting now for 6th position. But yeah, that's exactly what Johns wanted to see behind him. He's now got the gap. He's definitely broken the slipstream, and he should be able to go on with this now. And he will be certainly hoping that he can go on and take this race win from here.
Yeah, he definitely should be able to now. Mayat there with Crowther. Crowther did literally stop that GR86 and waited for Mayat to get back on track, and that just goes to sportsmanship that is here in the SRL as well. So you can get yourselves involved. Drop down into Discord. Links are down in the description below if you want to get involved with the GR86 or the TCR League that's up and running this season as well. The GR86 does start on the 10th of March at Donington National. That is round 1. So if you fancy getting yourselves in here into a little bit of action, getting yourself on TV, making yourself famous, then get yourselves involved there as Dan Wareham is just about to nearly no. Oh, he's not going to stop it. Oh, he's not.
Oh. He's still made it, and he's drifting through the grasses. Walters, he's going to come out the other side of it somehow without hitting anybody. That is quite unbelievable. But Wareham is, up to 8th place as a result, as Fertel now catches Johnson, who made a mistake, I believe, out of turn 1, and must have had a bad Maggots and Beckett section as well, because now they're fighting for 3rd.
Yeah, Johnson on the right, Fertel on the left. How is this one going to work out as they're coming into 8 and 9? Johnson holds it. Fertel slips in behind him. Fertel's looking for a lot better exit out of 9 as they're coming running round Club now. Here we go. Is this Fertel? He's going to gain speed all the way down. He didn't tighten it up as much as Johnson did. Johnson is now going to go the blue of the Fertel behind him and hangs on just as they go into 11 and 12 there as well. I think Fertel was trying to set him up there, really, wasn't he? Because he had Johnson off the line going into 8 and 9. He looked for the run out. Didn't quite make it that time around into 11 and 12. But Arthur Fertel's definitely thinking about setting Johnson up here.
He certainly is, and I thought he was really going to go through there. I thought that was his opportunity, and I didn't think there was going to be any way that Johnson could hold him back there, but clearly there was, and he has. This is the battle for third place now, and I think it could be the last podium place that's really argued about in this race. The front two look pretty settled, although Brown is applying the pressure to Johnson, will continue to right the way to the line, as these two go over the line, pretty much neck and neck, pretty much a dead heat on that lap by the looks of it. As we get 3 laps to go, it's Virgil round the outside of Johnson, around the first corner at Cobbs. It looks like Johnson's going to hold on from there, and Burns will catch as a result.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it's going to be a freeway battle soon. Arthur Fertile, Johnston still side by side. There's contact. Contact that drops Sturl into the clutches of Burns now. There was that slight little bit of contact there as well, and Zach said, well, how about we just call it a GR86 class? And then he
exactly. That's
said,
what I think.
Yeah, then he said, I forgot they're also rallycross. After, of course, that was watching the Mayak going across the grass, I think.
Oh, sorry. Is he for real? But,
oh my God!
Clearly not. That'd be weird. Why did I believe that? I don't know. It's late on a Friday night. Anyway, still side by side. I can't believe the way these two are fighting. By the way, Fertile has now got through on Johnson, but it's allowed Burns and Mod to catch up as someone's off in the second group there, or actually quite a lot further down for Stuart Gibbons, unfortunately, who went off there, I think. But yeah, this 4-car battle for third place is looking exciting, and it just looked like Jack Johns is being caught here.
Yeah, Brown's pulling him in slowly. He's pulled in. Last time out, 207.57 for Brown, 207.71 for Johns. So he's pulled in probably about 4, well, he got 2 tenths on the last one, and he seems to be gaining here, John Brown. I don't know if all of a sudden he's got this sort of rush of confidence in the GR86, but he is closing the gap slowly but surely. We're going to have one more, I think. So as these guys will be coming around starting the penultimate lap, and Brown again is down to 6 tenths. Is this the charge of John Brown? Is Anthony Mayak going to get past Dan Wareham? Wareham cuts his nose off on that run now as they're coming down into Cops. Wareham in the pink, Mayak in the yellow and black. Here we go as they go round Cops now. It is Wareham out in front of him at the moment. Wareham out. Never mind. A bad one.
I was trying to work out a way to get that pun on this broadcast, and I've not managed it because I thought of it a long time ago. And I thought it'd be good, but I haven't found an opportunity to use it. But there you are, you've gone for it. So fair enough. But this battle for first place is it's going to kick off here. Penultimate lap. This one is. We're about to go on to the last one, and Jack Johns is going to have. He's going to have to defend for his life, really.
Yeah, 1 minute 57 on the clock currently at the moment, as well. Zach's giving you grief in the JPB YouTube, by the way, just to let you know. So Jack Johns is going to be defending from Brown. Flutie looks like he's had a bit of an eventful evening. He's gone off again.
He has.
I don't really want to click on Flutie because he's got a bit of a dodgy internet connection at the moment, and the last thing I want is it crashing a minute and a half before the end of the race, because that won't be good for anybody. But Johnson here is still battling away with Thurtle. This is your battle for third and fourth place. So on the last lap, I think we're going to have first, second, third, fourth, and Dan Mould in fifth with Steve Burns as well. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth battles. This is going to be an interesting one on the run over the last lap.
Certainly is. Plenty of battles to settle here at Silverstone as we got down the inside for Mould. Not quite. Burns breaks late and he's defended well there. When you're on the outside line, you can afford to break a little bit later, and he could foresee that happening, really. Defending well for fifth place. Vettel doing the same for Johnson. Johns doing the same for Brown as we go over the line with seconds remaining. It's going to be final lap and last chance, really, for Brown to apply the pressure and get through. The problem, really, is that he's not made any threatening moves so far. He's got to do it all in one lap, which is quite difficult sometimes when it's just a two-car battle like this.
Yeah, definitely as well. But there is another two-car battle for Fertel or Johnson. And just for good health, we're going to give you another one with Burns and Mould, and we're going to be trying to track them all at the same time. So bear with us. If we do miss any of it, we will try and catch up as best we can. But it is Johns with Brown, Thurtle with Johnson, and Burns with Mould. And this is currently the closest one as these guys go running out of Chapel down into Stowe. Now, is this going to be Mould's opportunity? Burns is hugging that inside line. He's turning around saying, no, 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 I want it, I want it. And here's the Scotsman going to hold off from the Englishman. Around they go. It's a battle of the nations. Scots versus the English. Here's Mould going to be able to get the job done. He's looking like he's going to have the inside line. Burns is not going to give it up. Is he going to stick his nose in deep? No. Mould, if anything, just cut it off and said, nope. Thank you very much. I'm going to have that one. And it looks like that battle is settled as well. But Johns and Brown here, that was an epic little run of cars, wasn't it? Mould there giving him a right old grief.
Yeah, it was a good battle for 5th place, and it's allowed Brown and Wareham also to catch up in a big battle now for 5th place. Unfortunately, this race is going to end a little bit too soon for us to really enjoy that, I think, properly. Which is a shame, really. And I guess for this leading battle as well, I don't think Brown was quite left enough room to, enough time to get through on Jack Johns, who, despite being caught, has had this race under control for the last few laps.
Yeah, here comes Johns now. This is going to come across the line. He's going to take race to victory here. Don't be too flash yet, mate. That car does bite, you know. And we have seen it. Johns crosses the line in first place. Brown in second. Thurtle manages to hold on in front of Johnson. And Mould manages to hold on in front of Burns. It's Brown and Wareham. Brown's managed to hold on. Mayat right behind it. Crowther coming across the line with no bonnet, producing a nice little airflow system and an engine coolant method there as well by whipping the GR86's bonnet off and just saying, well, we don't really need that bit. Bostock and Barnes. Barnes has got to be gutted after leading there for the majority of race 2, went and spun it and stuck it into the wall. Gibbons behind him. Oh, he didn't actually stick it into the wall. My correction, he did just spin it coming out of turn 8. Daniel Lewis behind him, and then we've just got to wait for VJ Rayner as well. And that is what reverse grids bring you, Ewan, isn't it? I think that's the thing with it. These guys battling their way through the order, marching their way through. Mould, Brown, Fertel, Johns. You know, it's tough for the people that aren't used to leading.
Yeah, and it's good to see, really. It's a good taster for what the season's going to be like. Yeah, I think we can be positive going forward towards the first round in 2 weeks' time, that we're going to see some good racing here in the GR86 category. I feel like it's a category that's not really taken up by many drivers. We've got a healthy grid here, good racing as well, although Silverstone always does provide that for you. But these cars have played their part in that as well, and these drivers have too. Yeah, it's been a good evening and lots to be excited about in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, definitely on that one. We've got Johns out in front and is your winner by 4/10 of a second over John Brown. Arthur Fertel in third. Jono Johnson fourth. Dan Mould fifth. Steve Burns sixth. Mark Brown seventh. Dan Wareham eighth. Anthony Mayat is in ninth ahead of Dick Crowther. Craig Walters in 11th. Jane Bostock 12th. Christopher Barnes gutted out in front and then slips all the way down to 13th. Stuart Gibbons 14th. Daniel Lewis 15th. VJ Rayner 16th. Richard Flutie had a little bit internet issues this evening as well, causing a little bit of drama at the beginning of race 2 there. Alexander Longo in 18th and David Smith down in 19th place. We've got a lineup of people waiting in the booth, and well, let's have a pick of Arthur Fertel. I think we'll get in third there, of course. Arthur finishing third in race 2, first in race 1, but let's bring him into the booth. Good evening, Mr. Fertel. How are you, sir?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm all right. Not too bad. I've seen a great 2 sets of races. You know, you've taken the victory in the first one. Third in race 2. That's not a bad evening work, right?
No, that's good. If you can get a podium in the reverse grid race, then that's a good night.
Definitely. I fully agree with you. However, the start on race 2 was a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, there was cars going everywhere, and at the end of the lap, I suddenly realised that Jack Johns was in like P2 or P3. I was like, how the hell has he done that?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to watching the stream back.
Well, it was definitely an interesting one. I'm not quite sure. Richard Flutie was having I don't know. He was having bad internet issues anyway, which caused major problems. But yeah, literally, Johns was up like 10 places or something crazy like that, you know. But this is the type of racing we're expecting from this season, aren't we? In 2 weeks' time, we go to Donington National Circuit. What do we think? How are you looking at this season? It's the GR86, right? We can't categorise it up here in the booth. We can't decide if it's a touring car, a GT4, or what it is. It's just the GR86, I think. That's the conclusion we come to. What are your expectations out of this season?
I think the racing is going to be really close because it doesn't even if you're half a second faster than someone, they'll still keep up in the tow. Yeah, I think this could be absolutely fantastic season all through the grid. I think the racing will be really close. All
right, and what are you expecting?
I don't know. I'm going to do my best. I really enjoy the car, and I think so far every GR86 race I've done, I think I've been on pole.
Right, and again,
you know, I'm going to try my best to win it.
You've avoided the question so many times, so you're going to go for a win. Is that what you're saying? Because at the moment you've got splinters in your bum, mate. You've sat on the fence that often. You know what I mean? Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it my best, but I know it's going to be tough with the other quick guys. So we'll see. I reckon it'll get decided on who has the luck in the reverse grid races.
All right. Well, there we go. Didn't quite get the "I'm going to win it" out of Arthur Fell that we thought we might have done.
I'm going to win it.
Well, there you go. See, what are you telling me at the beginning? It's a bit late now, isn't it? God, the bit's gone, isn't it? God, blimey. You brought Arthur into the booth, eh?
Edit it.
I can't do that, mate. I can't do that. It's not as good live as it is edited, I'll tell you that much. But look, it's a pleasure talking to you as always, Arthur. Thank you so much for joining me in the booth. Anyone you want to give a quick shout out to before I let you go this evening?
I'd like to give John and Dan a shout out. They do a fantastic job organising these leagues. I'll get my words out. This is a new league, but if anyone watching wants to join in, although it's a league, SRL, it's also a community. Everyone's friendly. The banter through the races and in the practice sessions through the week, it's just fantastic. So if anyone watching wants to get involved, then yeah, send John or Dan a message.
Well, there you go. Thank you so much, Arthur, for coming in. It's a pleasure. As always, buddy, I look forward to speaking to you as the weeks go on. But for now, bye. Take care.
Yeah.
Right, let's bring in Jono Johnson into the booth. The man who was up 7 places in race 2. Got 4th over in race 2 there as well. Good evening, Jono. How are you, sir?
I'm well. Yourself?
Very well. Thank you very much. I've just seen a really good race. You know. Not been too bad at all. Did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, I'm new to this league and I'm sort of getting used to the guys and racing, but it was clean racing, close racing, just how I like it.
Yeah, definitely. From that one, it was definitely good and tight, and it was a little bit door banging, I would say, at certain times as well. But overall, it's been a great evening of racing. Sorry if we have just gone to a black screen on the broadcast. The session has just closed and has kicked me out, unfortunately. So if you are staring at a black screen, deeply apologise. Jono, what are you going into this season like? What's your ambitions for this season?
Well, do as best as I can. Like I say, I'm new here, so it's sort of finding my feet. But yeah, if I can get a couple of podiums here and there and generally stop at the sharp end somewhere, I shall be very happy.
Okay. Well, that's not a bad goal overall. It's not a bad start. Donington National Circuit. Jono, how'd you get on with there?
Yeah, looking forward to that. Done a few laps around there. Just got to try and get used to this car around there. It's a fun car to drive. So that sort circuit, slightly shorter, so really suits it.
Awesome stuff. Well, Jono, thank you so much for joining me in the booth. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you leave this evening?
Not really, just the guys who've organised the league. You know, obviously there's a lot of work goes into it, so just thanks very much to them for putting it all on. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Awesome stuff. Well, Jono, thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to speaking to you as the season goes on.
Yeah, fingers crossed. I hope to speak to you again. Cheers now.
Take care. Right, and then the last person who is to come in to the booth, of course, is Jack Johns, the man who is up 11 places in race 2. He got an absolutely barnstorming start. I think he was up 10 before we'd even got to Maggotts and Beckett's after somewhat of a chaotic start in race 2. But Jack, thank you so much for joining me in the booth. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, thank you. Good to see you.
Well, I can't see you, I can hear you, but thank you.
Well, hear you.
You know what I mean? It's always a pleasure, Jack, having you in the booth, mate. That was somewhat of a chaotic start in race 2, but somehow you made it work and was up 10.
Yeah, I was speaking to a couple of the guys. I think Arthur mentioned it. He was a bit shocked, I think, by the end of lap 1 or 2. He was like, hang on, because I said I was chasing down Chris at the time. He went, what? You're in P2? And I was like, yeah, but if I'm honest, like there's a bit of luck involved in that. The start was good. There was one person behind me actually had a better start. But then in going into turn 1, it just so happened that I was in the left lane, and I think there was a couple of people in the right lane that they lost the rear and spun, so it slowed down that lane. So I gained a few positions through that. And then before I knew it, yeah, I think I was in P3, and then it was just a matter of sort of hunting the next 2 down one by one. John always puts up a good fight. And luckily, him and Jono was fighting behind me when I did take the lead after Chris's spin. So it gave me a bit of breathing room for the rest of the race in that one.
Yeah, you held on there. I'm not going to lie. John was coming. He was well giving you a go towards the end of that race, mate. It was like you got a second wind of confidence in the GR86 and was just like full bore closing you down as well, which was impressive. But look, we go into the full season Donington National. Are you planning on doing the full season, Jack?
I won't be racing in the season, unfortunately, but it is in terms of the SRL League, it is always fun. I did the media day or the fun race in the Astons for the GT4 League as well. It was very similar, actually, I think, with Arthur on pole, Arthur win, with me and him fighting, and then a reverse grid. I went through the field and won the second, and Arthur was close. But yeah, no, it's always been fun. I always think back to when I met some of these guys, because it was a little while ago, I think, in a random official race. I think I met Dan in an F3 race like a year and a half ago. And then that's when I was allowed into this. But like Arthur said, anyone that's looking into joining a league like this, it's 100. If you're into wheel-to-wheel racing, that isn't like that isn't just people letting you past, I guess. Like these guys fight for every position, and that's what racing is for me. So it's always good fun.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I think that's what adds it to this league as well. It's always fair, isn't it, as well? It might be will-to-will, but it's fair. As we saw Craver literally wait for Anthony Mayat to come back on track after he had contact. So I think that's one of the good things there as well. So, well, Jack, thank you so much for joining me. It's a pleasure. I would say I'll talk to you on Monday, but I'm not entirely sure I'll be up high enough to have a conversation with you, to be fair, buddy. But it's always...
If you get into I'll look at your highest finish. If you beat it, I'll drag you in.
All right,
I'll give you a tap.
Yeah, come on, you have to drop me a message. Let me know what that is, though, because I'm not entirely sure what it is.
All right, I'll have a look.
But Jack, it's a pleasure talking to you, buddy. Is there anyone you do want to give a shout out to before you leave the booth this evening?
Shout out to yourself for commentating on this league. I feel bad because I've forgotten who did it before when I used to watch it. But yeah, definitely added something to it, and of course to everyone in the SRL League, to be honest, because they're all very welcoming. They make it fun. And good luck to everyone for the season, because it's gonna be a tight one. I think this car is made for this sort of stuff.
All right, and if we put you on a spot, Jack, who would you think is going to win the season?
You're going to want me to say Arthur.
No, I'm not. I'm not going to ask you to say anybody. Who do you want? Who are you going to pick?
Right. So I do think Arthur has a strong chance, but you know what? I think after watching that race, if he can continue as he did, and it sounded like in his interview he said he was new, I'm going to go for the underdog newbie, Jono Johnson, to give him a bit of a run for his money.
All right, mate. We'll keep you posted as the season goes on there, buddy. But Jack, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, mate. Thank you so much for jumping in. And hopefully I might have a chat with you on Monday.
No worries. I'll speak to you then, James.
See you later, mate.
Cheers, bye.
Well, there you go, Ewan. That just sums up the fun that these guys have had. Everybody's been fairly positive. You know, they're looking forward to the season. I'm looking forward to the season. I think it's going to be an absolutely epic one. What's your impressions of tonight's race?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the GR86s, actually. It's the first time I've ever commentated on them. I think it's the first time I've ever watched them, to be honest. I've not seen very much of them at all, but it's been fantastic. They've produced some really good racing. And as long as the tracks are selected well, of course, and I'm sure they will be, through the season coming up, then it's going to be a very good season, because Silverstone certainly produced us some good racing there. I very much enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing how the season gets on now. But yeah, still plenty of racing between now and then to happen, not least in the SRL actually. But 2 weeks away from the start of the season, and I think these couple of races have they've set the tone nicely, and now I think people are excited to get the season going properly.
No, don't forget, guys, there are still spaces. Get yourselves involved with the Discord below. They are in both YouTube channel descriptions as well. Just to give you a rundown of the calendar, we've got Donington Park in 2 weeks, Donington National, sorry, in 2 weeks' time. Then we go 2 weeks after that, we go to Brands Hatch GP Circuit for round 2. Round 3, we go to Oulton Park International without Britons, so that does mean we have Knickerbrook. And then we go race 4, we go to the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Race 5 is Hockenheim National A circuit, which is the short version without the hairpin. And then race 6, we go to Summit Point. So is that enough to whet your appetite, Ewan?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's hard to predict what's going to happen in each individual race, to us, because they'll all have a context and whatever. But yeah, it's going to be a good season. I think the fact that these cars are quite slow really means that they'll work on most circuits. Really, I just fear that there will be a circuit too small for them, and they wouldn't really be able to use the draft very much. But I feel like there's not very many circuits at all that would be too small for these cars, because they are relatively slow.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, that's going to bring us to the end of tonight's broadcast. I think you've got to admit it's been an absolute stellar one. Don't forget, if you're watching on either the JPB or the SRL YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe, give the video a big old thumbs up, and that would turn on the bells, because that would be absolutely amazing as well. And drop us any comments down in the below. Any comments you want to tell us about the racing, because it has been an absolute incredible one. But thank you again for joining us here as well. So from myself and Ewan O'Leary, you all take care. Have a great week. And you never know, we might see you on a track sometime. Good night.